Tucked away inside your skull is the most complex structure in the known universe. The human brain, a 3-pound universe of flesh, is responsible for every thought, memory, emotion, and dream you've ever had. We use it every second of every day, yet so much about its inner workings remains a mystery. Here are 10 astonishing, scientifically proven facts about your brain that will change the way you think about thinking. 1. The brain feels no pain. The phenomenon. Your brain is the central processing unit for all the pain in your body, yet the organ itself cannot feel pain. How it works. The brain has no nociceptors, the specialized sensory receptors that detect pain signals, while the meninges, the protective membranes covering the brain, and blood vessels in the brain do have pain receptors, which is what causes headaches. The brain tissue itself is completely insensate. Why it's mind-blowing. This is why neurosurgeons can perform awake brain surgery. A patient can be fully conscious, playing a guitar, or talking to doctors, while their brain is being operated on, feeling no pain from the procedure itself. 2. The myth of 10% is a lie. The phenomenon. The popular myth that we only use 10% of our brains is completely false. How it works. Modern brain imaging techniques like fMRI and PET scans show that we use virtually every part of our brain over the course of a day. Even when we are sleeping or resting, the brain is highly active in a coordinated network called the default mode network. Why it's mind-blowing. The myth likely persists because it's a seductive idea, the thought that we have untapped reserves of genius power. In reality, your brain is an energy hog, using 20% of your body's calories, and wouldn't waste energy maintaining massive amounts of idle tissue. You're using 100% of your brain. You're just using it for everything. 3. Your brain is a prediction engine, not a camera. The phenomenon. You don't see the world as it is. You see a version of it that your brain predicts and constructs for you. How it works. Your brain uses past experiences to generate a constant stream of predictions about what it expects to see, hear, and feel. Sensory input is only used to correct these predictions. This is why optical illusions work so well. They exploit your brain's assumptions. For example, you have a blind spot in each eye where the optic nerve exits, but you never notice it because your brain seamlessly fills in the gap with what it expects to be there. Why it's mind-blowing. This means reality is happening more in your head than out there. We are not passive receivers of the world, but active participants in co-creating our own reality. 4. Your brain can rewire itself. Neuroplasticity. The phenomenon. The brain is not a static, hardwired machine. It is incredibly adaptable and can physically change its structure throughout your entire life. How it works. When you learn a new skill, like playing the violin or speaking a new language, your brain forms new connections between neurons. If one part of the brain is damaged, other parts can sometimes learn to take over its functions. This is neuroplasticity. Why it's mind-blowing. This means your life experiences, habits, and thoughts physically sculpt your brain. London taxi drivers, who must memorize a complex map of the city, have been shown to have a larger hippocampus, the memory center, than the average person. You have the power to change your own brain. 5. Love is a chemical cocktail, not an emotion. The phenomenon. The overwhelming feeling of being in love is driven by a powerful cocktail of brain chemicals designed to ensure reproduction and pair bonding. How it works. In the early stages of romantic love, the brain's reward system floods with dopamine, creating feelings of euphoria and intense craving. At the same time, levels of serotonin drop, which is linked to the obsessive, can't stop thinking about them behavior characteristic of new love. Oxytocin, the cuddle hormone, is released during physical intimacy, strengthening feelings of trust and attachment. Why it's mind-blowing. Seen through a neurological lens, love operates in a similar way to an addiction. The brain of someone in love looks remarkably similar to the brain of someone on cocaine, which explains why a breakup can feel like going through withdrawal. 6. You can live a full life with half a brain. The phenomenon. It is possible for someone to have a hemispherectomy, surgical removal of half the brain, and still live a relatively normal life. How it works. This is an extreme example of neuroplasticity. This surgery is sometimes performed on children with severe, untreatable epilepsy. Because a child's brain is so plastic, the remaining hemisphere can rewire itself to take over many of the functions of the missing half. While there may be some loss of fine motor control on one side of the body, personality, memory, and humor can remain intact. Why it's mind-blowing. It completely shatters the idea that specific functions are locked into one specific area. It shows the brain's incredible redundancy and ability to adapt, proving that it's not about the parts you have, but the connections they can make. 7. The great realization at the moment of death. The phenomenon. Near-death experiences often involve a life flashing before one's eyes, but new research suggests a specific surge of brain activity at the exact moment of death. How it works. In a 2013 study on rats, scientists observed a surge of coordinated brain activity in the moments after cardiac arrest, specifically in the gamma waves associated with consciousness and high-level cognitive function. This suggests the brain may be capable of a final, conscious swan song. Why it's mind-blowing. This offers a potential scientific explanation for the vivid experiences reported by near-death survivors. It hints that, at the threshold between life and death, your brain might play back a final, coherent symphony of your most significant memories. 8. Dreams are your brain's overnight therapy session. The phenomenon. The bizarre, surreal nature of our dreams isn't random noise. It's your brain processing emotions and memories, specifically negative ones. How it works. During REM sleep, the brain's stress chemistry changes. The level of noradrenaline, a stress-related chemical in the brain, drops to near zero. The brain then reprocesses the day's emotional experiences in this safe, low-stress chemical environment. This helps to strip the emotional charge from painful or stressful memories, allowing you to wake up feeling better about a problem. Why it's mind-blowing. This suggests that the strange logic of dreams, where you might be running from a monster that looks like your boss, is your brain creatively reframing emotional experiences to help you heal and cope. You quite literally sleep to feel better. 9. Your brain eats itself. Healthy cannibalism. The phenomenon. Your brain has its own cleanup crew that literally eats away at old, worn-out, or damaged cells to keep you healthy. How it works. This process is called autophagy, which means self-eating. Specialized cells, and even neurons themselves, break down and recycle old cellular components and toxic proteins. This is a vital housekeeping function that keeps the brain running efficiently. Why it's mind-blowing. While it sounds horrifying, this eating is essential for brain health. It's believed that a breakdown in this process may contribute to neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. So, when you get a good night's sleep, you're literally giving your brain time to take out the trash and eat the leftovers. 10. The brain can be tricked into feeling a ghost. The phenomenon. Neuroscientists can induce the sensation of a ghostly presence simply by messing with the brain's perception of its own body. How it works. In a famous experiment, participants were blindfolded and fitted with a device that messed with the sensory motor signals between their brain and body. When they moved their hand forward, a robotic arm behind them touched their back at a slight delay. This mismatch in expected sensation versus actual feedback caused the brain to become confused about the location and identity of its own body, leading many participants to report the distinct feeling of one or more ghost people in the room with them. Why it's mind-blowing. This suggests that many paranormal experiences, like sensing a presence, might have a purely neurological explanation. Your brain builds a model of yourself, and when that model is disrupted, it can create the vivid sensation of another being. The ghost, in this case, may be you.